Okay, it is 1:30 in the afternoon, a special time today that we're doing this lecture. And so let's get right into sharing my screen. Welcome to J325, Criminal Evidence. Okay, let's do this. There we go. Okay, so we have one more lecture to go, and that will be in week 10. So now let's take a look at our announcement for the week. Confessions and admissions. To prepare for this, read Chapter 11 of Practical Criminal Evidence and complete the activity, You Have the Right to an Attorney. And then, this time says 6:30 on Wednesday, but obviously it is not 6:30 today, so we're doing it right now. And then your discussion post, that was due initial post, use of trickery and deceit. Last night I received the initial post. Then the reply post will be due on Saturday after I submit a post Friday or Saturday for response. And then continue to research your high-profile criminal trial. And that's it. So pretty much it's just the discussion post as an assignment for the week. So let's take a look quickly at the course calendar. Okay, and this should be a rather short session today. Okay, as our calendar says, your reading assignment that I gave you a few minutes ago, and then your lecture, which we changed the time for today, your reply post. Your initial post was due yesterday, the 22nd. And then just a reminder about your course project. That'll be due coming up. And so that's going to be coming up actually the following week. So let's take a look at the assignments for the week. Okay, again, as I've already said, there's only one real assignment, and that's your discussion post. Okay. And then let's take a look at lesson content. The difference between from admissions and confessions. So again, we're going to go right into the section that involves, let's see. Okay. All right. So now let's take a look at you have a right to an attorney, and then we will adjourn. So when you are under arrest and a statement is made, confessions take place. And so let's see what happens with these questions here. Okay, when you're under arrest, what questions should you answer? Let's go next. A confession is a complete acknowledgement of guilt. True or false? True. Yep. A confession is a complete acknowledgement of guilt. When a suspect confesses, it is either in written or oral, and the question is, was it voluntary? Confessions are usually admissible if the prosecution feels they were obtained freely without the use of threat, violence, or promise of some benefit, such as a reduced sentence for making the confession. Okay. Once an admission is made, police have to assume the person is guilty. That's false. That's false. An admission is an acknowledgement of some facts, but doesn't necessarily mean that person is guilty, though it could. For example, if you admit you were in a getaway car after a bank robbery, but you say you were not part of the robbery, you aren't saying you were guilty, but the implication is there. In fact, maybe the robbers hijacked your car while you were on the way to getting some new floor mats or something. So an admission is an acknowledgement, and the confession is not only do you admit that you did it, but you also say that you were guilty of it. An interview can turn into an interrogation when the investigator feels the witness is holding back evidence. That's true. An interview simply pursues the facts objectively from anyone who may know something about the crime. For example, the exact timing of an explosion, but the interview can turn into interrogation if the witness shows reluctance to share details, such as I don't remember, for example, when the crime took place just yesterday. Then the witness becomes a suspect. So it shows avoidance. In the case Escobedo versus Illinois ruled the following. DNA evidence is admissible in a court of law. Defendants have the right to an attorney when being questioned. Defendants should remain silent when being questioned. Defendants suffered from mental illness are protected. I wish this was true, but in 1964, DNA wasn't even in existence. And this is the answer, because I remember this case very well. In the correct answer, and the reason why I remember it is because I always followed law, even as a young kid. I was only 14 at that time, but I also remember also studying this case in law school. Ruled the defendants have the right to legal counsel. Goes with the other case, which escapes me. I know the case now. Law enforcement officials had forced Escobedo to stand for hours in handcuffs until he confessed to the murder. The police denied his request to speak to an attorney, even though the attorney had arrived at the station. A court ruling held that Escobedo's confession was constitutionally inadmissible, and so it is one of the leading cases regarding the right to an attorney. And the other one, I'm embarrassed, I can't remember it. It starts with a G, and I will okay. Okay. Gideon. Yeah. Gideon versus Wainwright. And here came back to is the case I was referring to. That case came out regarding the Sixth Amendment right. And that case came out in 1960, I think it was 64 also. Gideon versus Wainwright. U.S. Court, 63. So it went with Escobedo after that. Miranda versus Arizona rules the following. Police must advise defendants of their right to remain silent. Police must advise defendants of their right to an attorney. Police must advise defendants that questions must be answered. Police must wait 24 hours after an arrest before asking questions. Must advise defendants of their right to remain silent. One of the aspects is the fact that you can ask, you have a right to an attorney, but the police must advise defendants they have the right to remain silent first. If the defendant requests that right, then all questions cease. This case came about because Miranda was compelled to sign a confession for police. Police had not advised Miranda of his right to an attorney. The court ruled that the defendant must be informed in clear and unequivocal terms that he has the right to remain silent. That is the key part of that ruling. And that's it. So that is all I have for today. I'm going to adjourn this session. Pretty quick and pretty basic. So very brief lecture. So I'm going to say good afternoon. Final lecture comes up 2 weeks from today. Okay.